Well, howdy, 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 nearly senior citizen here. Greetings, boys, girls, and all of our non-binary friends. And remember, no matter who you are valid. Welcome to this, my very first time doing this. It is a leaf through of a rules situation before we play the game, just so that you can actually get to see it. I'm not going to be, like, going over everything. This is just a quick leaf through so that you can actually see the rule set before we do anything. So thumbs up on that. Yay! Let's take a look. So, we've got caves and catacombs. So, let us try to find the proper keys so that I can page down on them. Because she had no time for sleep, but it's a George R. Martin thing. So, in Heleda, a land shrouded in darkness and ruled by the evil necromancer Udrexus, a heroine named Eric set herself on a quest to infiltrate the despot's castle in a desperate attempt to retrieve the Horn of Souls, a powerful artifact that could free her people. Yeah, well, you know, she gets murdered, beaten to death. You know, she's dead, left to rot. But we aren't. And so, this is like an original game. Yeah, it's based on something, his printed play expanded version of another game, a board game that was inspired by the board game Hero Quest. So there's Hero Quest, which inspired the other board game, which inspired this. Thumbs up. It is very simple. It is more of an adventure game, and while there are role-playing elements to it, it's largely adventure, but still, let's take a look here. No need for a game board. No rules regarding character movement and positioning. In fact, while you don't even need to map, mapping is fun. It's part of the whole thing. Because it's important to know, and then we run through the blah, 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 blah. I mean, this is important, you know, NPCs, enemies, and vitality, poisoning, lose 1 vitality for every action performed. I mean, that's good. You know, can create more than one character. You know, and character creation, see, is you choose an archetype, and then optionally you choose the thingies here. Attributes, attack, defense, vitality, number of spells. Now, over here, this is the actual character sheet, which puts your name, your character, archetype, your level, attack, defense, vitality, number of spells, advantages and disadvantages, equipment, spells, and notes. Okay, that's a pretty basic. Especially since when you look at the archetypes, cleric, fighter, thief, and wizard. Cleric is the attack is the same as weapon and defense is same as armor. So you look at the weapon, well, it's got an attack of 3, and chainmail, defense of 3. Well, the attack and defense, vitality of 6, number of spells 4. And you can choose your spells. And then there's fighters, same deal. Weapon +1, you take a look at their weapon. And they don't have that. This is just their starting equipment. So longsword, shield, you write all these things down in the appropriate areas. So that's good. And there's the thief, and they can do all their various things. Wizards, they too have spells. So clerics and wizards have spells. And then there's your advantages and disadvantages, your bonuses and attacks and defense. And you have to match it. You know, if you get 1, you'd have to take 1 to match. Does that make sense? I hope so. And then leveling up every 5 completed quests. You just gotta go up 1 on something, which isn't bad. That's not bad. Now, when you create the quest, this is why you almost kind of don't need to map, even though mapping is fun. Because you create the dungeon. You see, you can either roll or come up with the features yourself, but rolling is more fun. So there's a fair amount of types. And then there's the locations, the types of construction, how well they're maintained. I mean, these are good things. This is where it gets, you can determine the size. That's okay. I mean, no quest, it's you go down 3 levels. And there's a couple other games where it's a set number of levels. Well, this one, it's random, and that's a good thing. And then naming, now this one, I kind of like the naming in No Quest, but it's like you go like, dungeon type of theme 1, so you can go the Temple of Hell. Temple, I mean, it's stupid, but still, dungeon type of theme 2, theme 1. Citadel of Abominable Curses, I'll say. And then we actually have a quest goal. Now this is cool too. I mean, there's only 6 here, but then they go through and you can roll on each of these to determine your special enemies, your important NPCs, the artifacts. I mean, there's a lot of stuff. Now here's where it gets into dungeon generation and it takes shape. This is where you almost don't need to map, because you, right off the bat, you determine the size of the floor and how many rooms there are. So you could just go through your D6 plus 5 rooms with no mapping. But then, there are closed areas. That's not going to be just 5 turns. It's going to be more than that. So, even though this is cool, I like it. And then there's your dungeon staircase where you start. Now, instead of the big heavy-duty rules that you find, you roll for your segment types, your segment sizes, your room shapes, and then your system contents, and then your special contents, your segment exits, and then the last room of each floor. It either takes you down or it's a fight. And then there's the special details that you can have. And these are cool. So you get your skill test. These are basic. If it's your roll, a 3 or less, you fail. 4 is a partial success, and 5 and 6 is complete. So that's good. And then you move to another segment. Your doors are locked. Tells you how to open them. There's traps. And then you engage in combat. There's the turns that you can take in your combat. There's your actual combat attacks. You roll. This is like Fargan's Darkness, or Fargan's Darkness is like this, in that you roll, the monsters don't roll. And then when you do extra damage, the damage rolls over onto the other monsters that are there. And then of course you can run away and then turn undead. I mean, there's all sorts of things. Casting spells, looking for treasure, random treasures. There's your equipment, enemies. Now this is the interesting part. The yes-no oracle. This just says roll an odd, it's no, even it's yes. Kind of basic. That's why they said, hey, why not download this one if you want something more complicated? Okay, I did so. This is different. You choose your question, determine the possibility, and then you make your rolls. So it's like you determine your question and then determine whether it's likely, unlikely, or impossible. Likely, roll a d6, consult the chart. Unlikely, roll 2d6, consult the chart. Impossible, roll 3d6, consult the chart. And then, of course, you can have bad things happen. And then, this is it. You can play published modules, playing with the original Hero Quest board, but that is it. Explore the dungeon if you got the board. But past that, this is the game. You're going in X number of levels, and you are trying to get X number of things to do. So that is the... I'd say there's more. I mean, that's really it. So I would suggest it's really cheap. If you like this sort of thing and you like what you've seen, please go to Drive-Through RPG and pick it up. But I want to, tomorrow or next video, you know what I mean, next video, I want to actually play this in a digital format. I'll do the dice rolling with an online dice roller, or I got a dice roller with my dice tower, drawing the dungeon. Maybe we'll draw it out. Maybe it'll be the sort of you go X, 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 X rooms. I mean, it's hard to say. So, anyway, I hope you have enjoyed this. There are 2 other books. One for extra expanded encounters, and then there's outdoor adventures, hex crawling. Ooh, we're going to look through those too after we do some caves and catacombs dungeon crawling. Thumbs up for that. So, Until we meet again, you take care. Have a great day today. I will see you on the flip side, and that is indeed a very good thing.